again. Okay. Um, are you mindful or is your mind full? Mindfulness has become a bit of a buzzword recently with things like meditation, journaling, and yoga practice highlighted as ways to stay present and connected. And while these certainly can benefit you in the long term, have you ever found yourself in a situation where you were overwhelmed or anxious and you needed something to quickly calm down? Well, tonight I would like to speak with you all about grounding techniques. So, grounding techniques are in the moment exercises you can use to reconnect with yourself and the present moment. And you can do them anytime, anywhere. So in addition to the research that I have done for this assignment, I also have some firsthand experience using grounding techniques in moments of distraction and overwhelm. So to begin, I'd like to define grounding techniques and review the three different types. So grounding techniques are simple exercises that work by grounding you in the present moment and pulling you away from intrusive thoughts or feelings, according to an article published on the Psychology Today website. There are three different types, and we will take a look at each. So the first is physical. And these basically use your body or your five senses. One such technique would be breathing exercises. You can see here the box breathing method, where you're breathing in for 4, holding for 4, breathe out for 4, hold for 4, and you kind of just repeat that, and it brings you back to center. There's also the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method, which I've used before, where you just in your mind list 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. And that kind of just, you spend a little bit of time just kind of bringing, getting all those distracted thoughts out of your mind and bringing it back to the here and the now. Let's see, the next type is psychological, and these are basically just mental distractions. It could be visualization. So imagine you're like balling up all of your worrisome thoughts, balling them up and, putting it in a box, or maybe you're just throwing it as far away from you as you can. Another would be something called an anchoring statement. And these are basically just really short, factual sentences of what is happening right now to get you back into the present. So, like, if I were to do this right now, I would say something like, I'm in my office, I am sitting in my squeaky chair, the air is cool, the walls are green. And just kind of like these simple, factual things. I've done it in the car too, where it's like, I am driving, I am going 60 miles per hour. It just, when your mind's racing, brings you back to center. And the third type is soothing. Now, these are just like comfort items or caring thoughts or words. Spending time with animals is one example. Like, we've all heard of emotional support animals. That's for a reason. Spending time with animals is comforting. And another example would be like repeating a self-compassionate phrase to yourself, maybe something like, you will get through this, or you're trying your best. So we've defined grounding techniques and identified the 3 different types. I would like to discuss how this applies to us, this audience tonight. So every human, of course, has moments of overwhelm, distraction, anxiety, and those feelings come from a variety of different reasons. But what we all have in common here tonight is that we are all students, and being a student can be stressful. Let's say, for example, it is speech night in your public speaking class, and your anxiety is rising as you're waiting for your turn. Well, we learned in chapter 3 of our textbook, Public Speaking, A Guide to Speech Prep and Delivery, to take deep breaths if you feel yourself becoming anxious. Deep breathing is a type of grounding technique. It's a physical grounding technique, and maybe you've even been doing it tonight. A study published in the North American Journal of Psychology found that after an 8-week mindfulness study, which included grounding techniques, university students reported increased self-awareness, reduced anxiety, improved coping strategies, and overall enhanced well-being. So we've discussed how grounding techniques can benefit us as students. Let's explore how to incorporate them into our daily lives. So forming a new habit can be tricky, but luckily there are some things you can do to make it a little bit easier. So the first thing you can do is to just try a few. Try them out. There are dozens and dozens. You can, Google it. But if you're more likely to use them if you find the ones that you're comfortable with, that are effective for you, and that really work. So the next thing you can do is to practice. The more you practice these techniques, the quicker you'll be able to recognize moments when you need them. According to the book Mindfulness to Go, How to Meditate While You're on the Move, each time you do any of these exercises, for however long you do them, you build at least a bit of mental muscle. Another thing you can do is use technology to make it more convenient. So there are many apps and websites that you can use so that you have it right there with you when the time pops up that you might need a little bit of support. According to the healthline.com, 9 useful apps to help with anxiety. These apps are convenient, mostly free or low cost, and accessible if you have a smartphone. They can also help improve moods and provide healthy coping mechanisms. So these examples I have up here are things that I've actually used. The Headspace app, the Calm app, and then this website here, it's the simplest website you will ever visit in your life, but it's really cool, a guided breathing exercise. And that's exhaler.com, exhalr.com. So we've learned what grounding techniques are, how they are relevant to us as students, and explored ways to make practicing them easier in daily lives. So to recap, grounding techniques are simple exercises that you can use to reconnect with yourself and the present moment. They ease stress, calm anxiety, and distract from unwanted, worrisome thoughts. So armed with the information you learned here tonight, you can be confident that when your mind feels full, you can find your way back to mindful.